After logging in, we can operate the entire software. The screen is divided into 3 parts: top, middle, and bottom. The top displays the logo, software version, communication status, user edit. For the main central section, on the left is an overview of all vessel parameters. This product has 8 vessels, so we can see their batch names, fermentation time, and process information. On the right is a diagram of a single vessel. The aeration configuration, the peristaltic pump configuration, the motor and sensor configuration. At the bottom is a navigation bar. If it's a multi-system, it will have a synchronous operation. Now, let's look at the main screen. Taking vessel 1 as an example, here displays the batch name and fermentation time. For aeration, the standard configuration is air and oxygen, controlled manually by rotameter. So after clicking in, we can find its PV can only be manually entered, meaning you can input the value shown on the rotameter to let the software record it. If they can be automatically controlled by MFC mass flow controller, there will be SP along with upper and lower limit settings. Here shows the peristaltic pumps. By default, there are 4 pumps: base, acid, anti-foam, and feed 1. Feed 2 and feed May 3rd also be added. Each pump shows a cumulative volume. When it is running, there will be a red icon. Clicking into the control loop, we can find a cumulative volume here. The pump preparing indicator means that the pump is running. By the manual button and notify us that software control is disabled. The control mode includes manual and automatic modes. In automatic mode, acid or alkali addition is automatically controlled by pH. In manual mode, we can manually turn it on or off. The factor means how many milliliters it dispenses per turn. It can be calibrated. The speed can be set. Default range is 1 to 100 RPM. Then the software can calculate the rate. There's a reset button for clearing the reading. When this pump has been calibrated, we can use this function to add a specific volume. The acid pump is identical to the alkali pump. For the anti-foam pump, there are slight differences. It has a foam alert function. When the foam sensor touches foam, for 20 seconds continuously, it will be triggered. When in automatic mode, it will automatically add anti-foam agent. We can set the cycle time and working time. When we set it to auto mode, an icon will appear here. At that point, monitoring will begin. Feed has some advanced functions because it uses an adjustable speed pump. We can set the feed rate and also configure a special feeding speed using linear or exponential method to gradually increase the speed. It can be controlled by the recipe. Here we can set 3 timing modes. Fixed control cycle, fixed working time, or all fixed. When all fixed, we can set the values and then calculate the speed. The others work the same way. Stir button must be turned on before starting agitation because it is the power switch for the mixing motor. Currently, it's not rotating, so PV equals 0. It also has manual mode and automatic mode. In manual mode, it is controlled by manual output. This function is generally not used. It's an interval control mode. In automatic mode, it is controlled by SP. Here is the speed limit in automatic mode. We can set the lower and upper limits. When I enable automatic mode, an icon will appear. The system will gradually increase the speed to SP. To turn off the motor, first switch it to manual mode and ensure the manual output is at 0. When it returns to 0, we can shut it down. These are parameters for various sensors. If foam persists for 20 seconds, here is the temperature set point. It can be switched between manual and automatic modes. The control parameters usually don't need to be changed. We can set the output percentage for cooling and heating. In automatic mode, it will start heating up, and a new button will appear. We can set it to follow SP normally or step, which means following the recipe. pH is similar. Is controlled by PID algorithm. Some modifications are not recommended. It will be handled automatically by the software. When automatic mode is enabled, it will automatically link the acid pump and base pump. We can set the output for acid and alkali addition below. Moreover, we can also link pH to feed 1. Currently, it isn't linked yet. We can set linking conditions. In forward mode, start feeding when pH is below a certain value. In reverse mode, start feeding when pH exceeds a certain value. Now I link it. And change it to reverse mode. Feed 1 has now been linked and has started running. Below are settings for the feed pump cycle and working time. DO is similar. Cascade control is based on the configuration. This model only supports linking to speed and oxygen bypass. Quote, once enabled, oxygen is linked to DO. Speed can also be linked. We can set the cycle and step size. We can also configure the linkage cascade. Here, I first choose speed. Then I choose oxygen bypass. Note that if the function we do not have, for instance, no MFC for airflow, and no MFC for oxygen flow, so 2 and 3 should be chosen. We can set the starting level. It is a delay time setting. We can set it to a larger value. For example, 60 seconds. We can control its switch. There's also a description below. For do, it can also be linked to feed 1. But note that the priority of DO is higher than pH. Don't modify the PID parameters. They will be handled automatically by the software. Below is the output. Since the glass vessel doesn't have a pressure sensor, pressure isn't available.